What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Super Bowl preview show. There's Tony acting all like he doesn't know what's going on. It's good to see you on this Super Bowl Sunday, Tony. If you guys are new to the program, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. It's that simple. Look at the bottom of the screen. It just goes boop, boop. That's all you got to do. Tony Tucker, the best day of the year, a holiday, as some would say, should be a 2-day holiday, most of us should say. But the NFL Super Bowl Sunday, it means two things to me, Tony. One, the end of the season is here. This is it, the final cap of the season. And two, starting tomorrow, Raiders to the Super Bowl, baby.
Holy shit. Just for a little peek behind the curtain, for anybody who is new to the channel here, thank you for stopping in. But Joe's so delirious, he was excited that the Raiders' odds jumped from 40-1 to 25-1, as if that was a good thing. It's like they're still saying that your chances are dog shit, but maybe Aaron Rodgers is more likely to show up.
But you're telling me there's a chance, Tony, and when there's a chance, that's all I need. That's all I need.
Well, there's clearly a chance. There's also a chance, I don't know, the Atlanta Falcons could win the Super Bowl next year.
Look, it's like when that hot girl, she's not talking to anybody else, but she says hello to you. You're like, what's up? What's up? Or, she walks by and she goes, excuse me. And, she's like trying to get past you, but at least she talked to you, right? She talked to you.
That feels so desperate. I was always like, I'll avoid it. I want real conversation. I remember being at a bar one time and buying. Is he throwing shade at the Raiders?
I don't know who he's talking about because the Raiders choked this year, Chargers choked this year, Cowboys choked this year. There's a lot of teams he could be talking to. Harrison, what's going on?
Harrison, I'm sorry, bud. I didn't know how to use TikTok. Otherwise, I would have loved to have had you on there.
Steven in the house. Steven, we always appreciate it whenever you can catch up with us. It's always good to have you in the house. But if you guys are following us, hey, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Chiefs, Eagles, who you taking? Let us know in the chat. Tony and I are both AFC West fans, but for some reason, we're both leaning towards the Chiefs. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, Steven has actually been on a hot streak, too, with predicting the playoffs. I know I give him a hard time because I'm always like, oh, Steven gets them right. But he's been on a hot streak with picking who's going to win the game. So I'm interested to see who he's got. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah, I was telling a dumb story. Okay, so Steven is wrong for the Super Bowl. Okay.
Steven went undefeated throughout the whole playoffs and is finally going to get one wrong, and it's going to be the Super Bowl.
There it is.
Let me ask you this, Tony, because people aren't talking about it unless if they are, I'm not seeing it. Every team that played the 49ers this week and played them has lost the following week. But we're not talking about it in the Super Bowl. Like, we only bring that up in the regular season. But when it comes to what the game that matters, we're just going to be like, oh, you know what? They did play the Niners last week, but they won. And it's the Eagles. It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that was a really weird game too because of the quarterback situation. So like it wasn't the normal sort of beatdown that you take from like you would normally take. Plus, what is that? It's tough to know what that's like after a bye week because that's essentially what's happening. So it's not like they had to come back and play the next week. They got a full week of rest, and I think part of the reason that is an advantage in the regular season is because it's such a physical game when you play the 49ers. But if you get that extra 7 days, who knows?
Yeah, so did you see what came out today about the Eagles hired Vic Fangio for the last 2 weeks as a special defensive consultant to come in here? Like, really, you got to pull out that kind of move to help your team?
Well, what I thought was funny about that was like, did anybody check the Chiefs' record against the Broncos? The Chiefs have won the last 14 games, and I'm pretty sure that Fangio was the coach of at least 6 of those games. So I get Fangio's good at his job, but I don't necessarily know that that's like some huge advantage. Like, it's cool. you always want to have as many smart people around you helping you prepare for whatever. But it's not like they brought in somebody who has the number of Andy Reid's offense. Like they didn't.
Yeah.
He's 0-6 against them. You know, what are we going to find out now? The Chiefs brought in Hugh Jackson to come in and help the defense prepare for no.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that news, I was like, wait, Vic, we like Vic Fangio as a defense coordinator, but it's not like he's been a chief killer. It's not like he's been a Patrick Mahomes stopper. So I don't understand why they did it. I guess any knowledge is better than nothing, but I just feel like it was a desperate move. And now that if the Eagles lose this game, it even looks worse. I think.
Well, the thing that I thought was interesting was the way that narrative works is it's going to be less about Jonathan Gannon and more about Vic Fangio and that sort of gun for hire leading up to the Super Bowl. Because like, how much could he really be helping or changing? Like, it's got to be like small tweaks within Jonathan Gannon's scheme, because you're not switching up a ton of stuff this late in the game. Like, that would be crazy for them to be. You don't end up with a top 5 defense and then all of a sudden be like, hey, for the Super Bowl, we're going to try something completely new and throw them off. That'd be a terrible idea.
It's like, oh, let's change our whole defense up and do this. No, you don't do that. But speaking about Gannon and Jobs, he's going to interview with the Arizona Cardinals tomorrow, right after this. And then they're saying that why can't I think of his name right now? The offensive coordinator for the Eagles is already going to be named the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts tomorrow.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago when we were saying, why are these jobs taking so long? And I really thought Shane Steichen, the Eagles offensive coordinator, he was the guy there. I think it's a good spot for him. He's going to get to come in and potentially, pick a veteran quarterback, because that's the way the Colts have done it. But more than likely, I think he's going to get to pick the rookie quarterback that he likes from this draft class and really get to work with him. And Shane Steichen did wonders with Justin Herbert, which leads me to believe that Will Levis could definitely be an option at drafting at that position, getting somebody who's a bigger frame guy, big arm, that kind of player, and getting him in there and really teaching him the ropes of the NFL. So good for them. I think I would, like we've talked about, Joe, I wouldn't want either one of these jobs, but if you are a coach, you can't always be so fortunate where you could sit around and just wait for the perfect job to come. Because now Eric Bieniemy's not even calling plays for the Chiefs. He passed up the Texans job or interview a few times. And now there's rumors about him going to Washington or Baltimore just so he can have a job where he's calling plays. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, now he has to reinvent himself and make people believe in him. But there comes a time too, Tony, like I'm a big dude, right? And I was always taught when I was a kid, when you go to somebody's house and they offer you food or they offer you something, you say yes. Because if you say no multiple times, what are they going to do, Tony? They're going to stop offering you shit. They're going to stop offering you. So when Eric Bieniemy's going and interviewing everywhere for the last 2 years, and he keeps continuing saying no, 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 then finally NFL teams are going to be like, this guy doesn't want to be a head coach.
Yeah, it works all places like that, right? Like, if you are offered a position within a company and you pass it down, they're going to be more reluctant to come back to you. It's like, why didn't you want that challenge before? Like, did you not think you were capable of fixing that issue? And I think that the one thing we have to take into account is like how chaotic the Houston job was. Like, do we still think that Eric Bieniemy would be the coach of the Texans right now if he had taken that job 2 or 3 years ago when he turned it down? I don't think so. He'd be back looking for a job on the offensive staff of the Chiefs, just like Matt Nagy had to come back and do. So, like, the one thing I don't like is I wish that there would be a little bit more praise within the organization given to some of the plays that are schemed up to the players that like to the guys that are there. Because
Yeah.
if you're not calling plays, I would like to know as a fan how integral you are to actually implementing certain elements of successful game plans, offense or defense, right? Like the Chargers are probably going to lose Tom Donatel to the Dolphins because Fangio's taking that job as defensive coordinator. The Chargers' strength last year was in the secondary and in the playing the passing game. Is he going to be a big loss for the Chargers defense? I don't know how much of that he has to do because Chargers can't afford to be bad at the pass game and the run game. I mean, technically the defense can't get much worse than it's been over the last 2 years, but I'm always curious as to how much influence these guys have.
Yeah, Steven's asking, he says, there's no Mike on this beautiful Sunday. Mike is actually in Arizona at the Super Bowl. Tony and I decided not to go, but Mike is at the Super Bowl getting ready to cheer on his Philadelphia Eagles. Can I say that? Mike's Eagles.
So I'm trying to see how I can get the chat on this, but I don't know because I'm not in my normal setup. So whatever. What was I saying? What was I gonna say? Oh no, that's what I was thinking of. The Texans are putting together a good staff, Joe. I know we're in this coaching thing, but like,
yeah,
interviewing.
no, I saw it. They got an offensive coordinator today.
You got what?
They got an offensive coordinator today.
Yeah, they the guy they brought in from San Francisco.
Yeah. Tony, so I have Mike's NFL props up right now. I was going to run through them with you, see if you want to go through those. I think we've done this before, and I think we both agree, but I'll ask you again. How long will the national anthem be? Over or under 2 minutes, 2 seconds?
I said under.
So you're going under?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're okay, that was right. Because you think that he's going to rush through it because there's so many people in there and people get nervous. That's right.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. I think country singer. I don't think he's going to wail on as many notes as the, bigger vocal talents.
It's about a Spanish guy.
Yeah, I love that. That's Angels in the Outfield, right?
Yeah, Angels in the outfield.
Yeah.
What will be the result of the coin toss?
Going with heads.
Heads. There we go. If you guys aren't doing this, there should be a way I could put a link in there. You guys can join Mike's Pick'ems pool, and there's 37 questions in there. You win, Mike. I think Mike's giving away a jersey of your choice. So, Mike, get that Raider jersey ready because it's coming this way.
Yeah, I already filled out all 38 questions or whatever, and I feel good. I feel ready to win.
Will the team that calls the coin toss be correct? That's always a hard one.
Yeah, I said yes to that. I mean, there's no real analysis to go. It's purely a guess.
Yeah. It's just like heads, tails, heads. All right, it's your ball. You win. Correct. And then it could go right back the other way. And then he turns around and goes, will the team that wins the coin toss win the game?
Yeah, so when I was thinking about this one, I was like, I don't know who won the coin toss. So I don't know. So you just, again, it's another guess. So I just put yes.
Okay. This one I always go run. But the first offensive play of the game will be run or pass? Which one are you going with?
I think that I put run just because I think the percentages are higher. I do think there's a strategy involved in this. If it's the Eagles, I believe there's a higher than 50% chance based on the Eagles that it's that. And I do think for the Chiefs side, there's a good chance that the first play for them could also be a run. Could also be a quick screen, which would be kind of scary. But I just think the percentages are better that way. But
Yeah.
yes.
And I might be the only one, but will any team score 30 plus points?
I put no on this.
See, I don't know. In our predictions, I have it 41 points for the Chiefs, and that's what I got tore. A lot of Eagle fans were yelling at me and screaming at me, going, "Why? Why would our team give up 40 points?" And I said, "They just did to Dak Prescott a couple weeks ago. Dak Prescott just did it to your team a couple weeks ago." And then they were like, "Well, we had Gardner Minshew in that game," and I was like, "Oh, so now backup quarterbacks matter, huh?"
Well, okay, so I just want to say that maybe that wasn't Dak Prescott as much as that was the best offensive mind in football. I mean, I don't know. I think Kellen Moore is pretty good at his job. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if Kellen Moore was the reason why certain teams are going to dominate next year, Joe. I don't have all the answers, but I think Kellen Moore is good at his job.
If you guys want to answer these along with us in the chat, go ahead. Which team will score first in this game, the Eagles or the Chiefs? It doesn't matter how they score; they just have to score first.
I think I picked the Chiefs to score first, but I think it's a field goal.
So yeah, I have that feeling too. I have a feeling that it's going to be the Chiefs and they score a field goal. I don't know why. It's just every time I think about the first score in the Super Bowl, it's always a field goal, and I always think of the Chiefs. Which team will record the first sack? Eagles, Chiefs, or no sacks at all in the game?
I was tempted to take the extra points. This is where I'm always like a sucker, right, for these things where it's like, when you look at the things, there's point qualifications, and I think you get like 8 points or something if you pick no sacks. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting. But I put the Eagles.
Harrison's going with the Eagles as well. I'll go with the Eagles as well, just because of what that D line has done all season long, and they've been a sack machine over there. There's going to be one point where Patrick Mahomes is going to get caught. Here we go to this one, Tony. Which player will score the first touchdown? And then they list a couple people. They list Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Kelsey, Pacheco, Brown, Goddard, McKinnon, Smith, and then Ether. This is where I wish the Ether was plus more points than just 4 points.
I think I took other just for the upside of the points, right? I can't remember, but I think I took other because I'm not sure that I'm going to get the other one. Like, I'm not going to get it exactly on. But if it does happen to be an other, then I get a bunch of points.
So Steven's going with Miles Sanders. Harrison's going with Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown. So both of them are liking the Eagles getting a touchdown first.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, this is what's so great about this game is that I can see paths to where both sides can win big. I can see a close football game. Like, it really is the two best teams that we've seen all year, which is exactly what you want in a Super Bowl. Like, first thing I want is my team in it. If my team's not in it, I want a game where I can see multiple outcomes happening, because then that to me is going to generate a good game.
Yeah. And I'll take Boston Scott or Kenneth Gainwell taking the first touchdown. Just to let you guys know, because I got plus 400 on them. Yeah, so I got plus 400. So what is that, about 250 bucks?
Yeah, what did you depends what you
I
bet?
put 50 bucks down. So 50 bucks plus 250 is about 250 bucks.
So plus 400 on 50 bucks.
Yeah.
$200, right?
Yeah, I'll take it.
There you go.
I'll take it.
I would too.
Joker in the house. Joker, Tony doesn't know TikTok. I'm banned from going live because I pissed off a bunch of Eagle fans, and so they banned me for 8 days. But then they came back and said, no, it's only going to be a couple days, so I can come back live on Valentine's Day. But I tried to go live with Tony because they said I could be multi-guest, but I guess that didn't work. So Tony went on there, and it's the first time Tony's been live on TikTok. We've been trying to get Tony on TikTok forever. I finally took a screenshot of it with Tony's face on TikTok so I could prove that he's been a TikToker his whole life.
That's it was very underwhelming. The reviews are already in. People are asking me for not an encore performance.
And Tony did not like it, and once he said he didn't like it, I kept continuing to do it and put the cowboy hat with the mustache on him while he was live.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that. I don't want anybody like messing around with me. Somebody put some weird TikTok hat on me.
Yeah. Well, there was a guy earlier, Tony, before you went live that I was watching, and he was like, if you send me a cowboy hat, I'll put chocolate syrup on my head. And he was just doing it all that because I told you that's how they make their money on TikTok is do that stuff. So he was like, if you send me this, I'll put soda on my head.
But we're talking about pennies.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Get out of here. Like, for me to put syrup on my head, it's gotta be.
Hey, Joker saw it. Joker saw that same video, so I'm glad he saw it. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I'd put syrup on my head for 200 and no, I wouldn't. It just feels so degrading to do something like that for money. Like it's got to be something significant that I would be able to do with my family. Right? Like if you want me to put syrup on my head, I'm going to need to be able to take my family to a nice dinner or
nobody
something.
would want it. If you ever put syrup in that hair, Tony, I will smack you. Don't ever touch that beautiful hair with any kind of syrup. Yeah, Joker said people do it to pretend to sleep just to get money on there. So they'll fall asleep with the camera on. Like,
hey, stop it.
All right, let's go back to this. Which team will kick the first field goal? I think we both said it will be the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, I got the Chiefs.
What happens first in the game, a sack or a touchdown?
I think I put a sack down. I think the Eagles get home pretty early, pretty fast, right? I think they're going to bring some pressure on one of these plays. I think the Eagles are going to be extremely aggressive in this game, Joe. I think that they're going to go for it on multiple fourth downs, and they're going to try and bring some unique pressures to get after Mahomes.
Everybody else in the chat's going sack with us. I think the Eagles have to be aggressive. Even though the Eagles are the favorites, according to Vegas right now, I think they feel that they're not. They don't have the experience. You know that. So the Chiefs are coming with the experience. The Chiefs are coming with the coaching staff that's been there. The Chiefs are coming with everybody the game plan. They're coming out of the better conference. The Chiefs have everything going for them. But so Tony, in Vegas, I said this to you and Mike earlier. In Vegas, the spread was 2 points, right? Then overnight, everybody's been putting money on the Eagles up until last night. Last night, people have been coming out of the woodworks, Vegas says, and just throwing big money on the Chiefs. Big money on the Chiefs. They went from 2 to 1.5, and now it's down to 1 point spread for the Eagles still. But everybody is starting to lean towards the Chiefs.
I mean, it feels like a really good bet. It feels like a good bet to have the MVP of the league in the Super Bowl, doesn't it? Like, why not? Like,
but somebody was telling me that the NFL MVP in the Super Bowl, the NFL MVP in the Super Bowl is like 0-4 or something like that. Somebody was saying.
Is that true?
I don't know if it's true. It was just what I was told.
But what MVPs got there? Like Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, like good players, like really good players. Don't get me wrong. Like the one MVP is like Cam Newton is a really good player, but he's not Patrick Mahomes. I guess Favre is probably on that list. Favre probably won the MVP the year he lost to the Broncos. But then he also won, I think he won the MVP the year that he played against the Patriots.
Let's see. The last person to do it was Tom Brady the year that he lost to the Eagles.
Okay.
Okay, so the last person to actually win it and be the MVP was Kirk Cousins in 1999.
Who?
I mean, Kurt Warner. Like I said, Kirk Cousins.
I was Kurt Warner. Wait, Kirk? Somebody else named Kirk Cousins?
No.
Super Bowl and an MVP.
No, I'm wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's going to be the 10th quarterback or 10th player to go to the Super Bowl as the NFL MVP, and they're 0-9 in the Super Bowl. Kurt Warner lost, Rich Gannon, Sean Alexander, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning with Indy, Peyton Manning with Denver, Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, and then now Patrick Mahomes. NFL MVPs are 0-9.
Wait, but isn't that since a certain time, right?
That's since 2000.
Yeah, because Favre was the MVP and won against the Patriots. So it can't be all time. There's got to be another number. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's, I don't know. I'm just telling you. 0-9 in the last 9 games.
All right. Well, they're due. They're due. I love how this is another reason why I want Harrison on. Harrison always makes fun of us for misspeaking. When we will say roughly 25,000 to 50,000 words a show, for me it's probably more like 65,000 words a show, and we misspeak on one division, one name, one something, and Harrison's just there to make fun of us. I want Harrison to go live with us on the show, and I'm just going to sit there with a fine-tooth comb and comb through every single word that he says for the entire broadcast.
Hey, Harrison, I was just speaking Kirk Cousins into existence as the MVP next season.
You need to give up on your Kirk Cousins for MVP bullshit.
Did you see him singing at the NFL Honors?
I heard a clip of it on a show.
He has the voice. He had the chains on. He has the voice. What an angel, Kirk Cousins.
I like Kirk Cousins. I would root if Kirk Cousins were in this game. I'd be rooting for him.
Kirk Cousins to the San Francisco 49ers this offseason.
They're showing Jordan Mailata's rugby highlights.
Hey, after this game, Tony, after this today, no more NFL. The NFL season's over, but there's going to be XFL and USFL. I saw that the XFL, Tony, for the Seattle Dragons, we're going to have Ben DiNucci throwing the ball to Josh Gordon.
For real?
Yeah.
I'm happy to see that Josh Gordon is still playing ball somewhere. That he's like, I just want to get out there and play football.
I was going to send it to you earlier because they actually put like their rosters up of it. But Ben DiNucci is the quarterback of the San Francisco team. Hold on, let me see. But there was another team that I was like, what? Which one is it? It was the Las Vegas team. I got to find their roster.
Well, so here's the great thing about what's happening with these other leagues is there's enough hype from college football players mixed in with their own self-promotion, right? Getting on social media. And when a lot of these guys wash out in the pros, there's going to be secondary leagues for these guys to end up in where they can go and they should be able to dominate or at least be very, very good players in these leagues. And guys that we are familiar with will watch and we want to go cheer. Like,
so here's one for you,
right.
Huh? Las Vegas Vipers, right? Brett Hundley is the quarterback.
Okay.
And he's throwing the ball to Geronimo Allison and Martavius Bryant.
See, that to me, those are good NFL players. Like, not good, but they were NFL caliber players. And so now they're going to get to go. We're familiar with them. Like, I know for a fact that some people have asked us, like, should I start Geronimo Allison like 2 years ago or whatever last year on our fantasy show? People have asked us questions about that during injury. Martavis Bryant helped me win fantasy playoff matchups before. And Brett Hundley was a good player at UCLA. He's got a recognizable name. I think he actually started a game for the Green Bay Packers. So
for Orlando, you're going to have Paxton Lynch throwing it to Eli Rogers.
All right. There it is. That's a That's like the least impressive combination you've stated so far as name recognition. But I
AJ
remember when
McCarron.
Paxton Lynch came out and everybody was trying to tell me how good this guy was going to be, and I was like, okay, all right, I guess I don't see it, but sure.
AJ McCarron throwing to Marcel Aitman, and Austin Prohl.
Austin Prohl, all right, the son maybe of Ricky Prohl.
Yeah, Austin Prohl. He bounced around the NFL a little bit. Aitman was on the Raiders practice squad for a long time.
Austin Prohl was on the Chargers 90-man roster. He was auditioning to be the punt returner and special teams guy last year.
But
Made
yeah,
a nice play at FanFest. I remember that.
that's the most. I don't really see a big name running back in there yet. But the quarterback position, I was like, all right.
The running back position, I think, is going to be the hardest one for there to be name recognition, because if you're good enough to run the football, you're going to get 4 or 5 years in the NFL, and your body's probably going to be pretty beat up. So you're not going to make it to a secondary league. But we could see. I just think it would be interesting enough for a secondary league to get competitive enough where they start signing big name players from the NFL draft. Like if somebody can come in and say, hey, we're going to make a secondary competition level where we start offering these guys crazy amounts of money to come play over here. And I think running backs could be your target, Joe. Because if you came to them and said, hey, you can go to the NFL and you could get a rookie contract and whatever, but likely arbitration and whatever. But what if you just came to the NFL and right away we paid you $10 million a year? We guaranteed you $40 million for the first 4 years of your career. You don't think they would think about going over there and dominating that league?
You already got me sold. I'm running back. I'm going to be a running back.
It's everybody's dream to play in the NFL until somebody offers you an amount of money that you're like, sorry, that's not happening.
Yeah, so we got that coming up, XFL versus NFL. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Anytime the Super Bowl happens, we're all excited. We're like, yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, baby, it's the best day of the year. And then the next day we realize there's no football from now until August. And what are we going to do? So we always try to fill that void. We'll try to talk basketball. We'll try to talk baseball, but nothing fills the void like football. So we got 2 leagues starting up after this with the USFL and the XFL. So I'm going to be watching one of them, Tony, if not both of them. But they're not going to compete. They're not going to give us the NFL feeling.
No, they won't. I think that the television product it got better as the year went on with the USFL. I think continuing anything in the infant stages is going to be tough to watch for you to get on, because you're watching like a stepped on version of the NFL. Like it's just not the same caliber, not the same players, not the same broadcasting, any of those things. But once we get a few years in, I think that these things will start to work out. And like I said, the being familiar with it, the players, them making a name for themselves in college, and then maybe in the NFL with certain fan bases. Like, here's a good example, Joe. The PGA Tour didn't have competition for years, and now they have this live golf tournament or golf league that's sponsored by other people and other money. And every single golfer, it was their dream to play on the PGA Tour, their dream, until somebody came with deep pockets and said, here's $280 million. And they were like, and the PGA Tour was like, if you join this tour, you can't be on our tour. And they were like, I no longer dream of being part of the PGA Tour because I'm sleeping on a bed of cash like that. That's just how it is. So I think if any of these leagues can catch on, it's going to be the one that has the support of the NFL, which is the XFL, right? They're the ones that are.
I think the XFL, yes. I think the XFL has the better backing than the USFL.
Yeah. So if they can get enough to where it's like you're pulling players from that league to come to the NFL, and ultimately, this is my favorite thing about football, is it's just going to be the best 52, best 53 players. Like there's not going to be some bullshit where they're like, "Hey, let's make this person a household name. Let's take this player from this league and put him in here and shine him up and so we can highlight this other product
Yeah.
we have." That's not how football works. If you can't play and you're going to get your ass busted on Sundays, no coach is putting you on the field. That's not how. There's not a beauty pageant with sports, and especially not in football.
No. Tony, which team will have the most penalty yards today?
Most penalty yards. I put that down as the Eagles because, Joe, as you like to say, it's the Eagles versus the refs.
All day, every day. Kansas City going to get those calls for them going all the time. Will either team score 3 unanswered times in the game?
No.
That could just be field goal, field goal, field goal. It doesn't have to be.
Doesn't matter. These teams, I think, they're too good offensively for somebody to score 3 times unanswered.
Will the last play of the game be a quarterback rush or a kneel?
Are those the only options?
Well, it says, will it be the last play of the game be a quarterback rush / kneel? So basically, are they going to kneel the ball down? Yes or no?
No.
Which team will turn the ball over first?
What did I forget what I put down for this one, but I think I put the Chiefs.
See, I think the Eagles do.
Yeah, this is Joe. This is always the great thing about watching the Super Bowl is because like it,
Harrison, you going with Kansas City turning the ball over first?
Joe, everybody could be perfect. Your best players could be amazing, right?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence throws the ball to Jamal Agnew, and you fumble the ball inside the 10-yard line. Like there could just be that moment where it's like they throw a quick screen pass to Justin Watson or something on the Chiefs, and then the ball gets punched out by Bradbury or something. It's fun. That's my favorite part is like the unexpected big plays from all these people. Patrick Mahomes showing up.
How many songs will be played during the halftime show, Tony? Over, under 9.5 songs.
I think I put under 9.5 songs.
9 songs is a lot. Even if you are mixing them up, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, because I did it and I was like, so if they do like 90 seconds per song,
yeah,
right, and then there's probably a couple wardrobe changes or something, she's gonna get 15 minutes. Like it's gonna be under.
Zero's going with under 9.5 songs too. Zero, welcome to the program. What song will Rihanna start off with, Tony?
I don't know any Rihanna songs.
Under my umbrella, Ella, hey, 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 hey.
Does she sing "Bitch Better Have My Money"? Is she part of that?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Herbert by 50 by Simply Dad. So with you, Tony, I'm gonna go Ether. I am going with Lift Me Up. It's a slower song. It was out of Black Panther Part 2. I would think that would be the easiest song to start off slow with, because I was thinking she'll start slow and then go boom, but everybody else is against me. They think that she's gonna go boom and then slow down a little bit. But I'm going with Lift Me Up.
I do like that slow opening. I just push like whatever the second option is. I think I just push the second one down. What is that one?
I moved on. Let's see. What's my name?
There we go. I think that's the one I picked. Like whatever the second one, I just pushed it and moved on because I
You're like,
didn't see any.
I don't care. Give me the points. How many players will have a passing attempt? So I think I've talked to you before, you and Mike, this week about it on our Super Bowl preview show, and I told you somebody put money down. It was one of the biggest bets that you could make. What the biggest odds was? Would you see the two backup quarterbacks? Would Minshew and Henne take a snap in this game? Like, if you see both of those. But this is a passing attempt, and it doesn't even have to be a quarterback. So do you think a non-quarterback or anybody else will throw? It says it's over 2.5. So you already got the two quarterbacks. That's two. You just need one other person to throw a pass in this game to win this bet.
Yeah, I put over on this one for those reasons. One, because you know that I've already said many times that somebody's running the Philly special in the game today. On top of that, you have two quarterbacks coming in to the Super Bowl with injuries. And now I do think they've gotten a couple weeks and they're probably as good as they're going to be, until mid-March. But I'm going to bet that somebody other than Hurts or Mahomes is throwing a pass in the game today.
Zero says Travis Kelce is throwing a touchdown pass.
Yeah. I'm not betting it, but I called it. I made a video about it, and I hope the video goes viral.
Well, what did Mike sent us one this morning, which was with the two Kelce brothers? What was that one?
Yeah,
It
that's
was
a rushing or receiving touchdown for one of them. But I think that's just sort of like that's just a fun brother prop. They don't actually it's not like Prize Picks has any inside information. They're like, we have it on good authority that there's a fullback rush play from the goal line with Jason Kelce in today's game. Maybe that'd be awesome. How cool would that be to see him? But then he's the center. Like that's the one thing about center is like it's not a Mike Vrabel catching a touchdown. He's a linebacker. It's not an tackle eligible. Like if he doesn't hike the ball, are they bringing in Cam Jurgens, the guy they drafted for next season when Kelce retires, to play center? That would be.
I know. I was thinking somebody was saying the same thing at my work. They're like, "Well, he can." I go, "Yeah, but you can't even make the center eligible. Like, there's no way you could do it. Like, he would have to play out of position just to play anywhere else, and I think it would go too far." They were like, "Well, what if they line up Travis Kelce at nose tackle on the?" I was like, "Really? They're going to do that the biggest game of the year? They're going to go, hey, Travis Kelce, just for the fun of it, line up against your brother on the first play of the game." Hell no.
There's no this isn't an all-star game, right? This isn't just like, oh, we're gonna have the Diggs brothers go out there and guard each other, or we're not gonna send Stephon out there on defense and Trey out there on offense for fun or anything like this. Not how the Super Bowl works. Like you're not gonna try to get cute or have a special moment like that in this game.
No, I mean, if it's a blowout or something, then maybe. But
No.
Okay, let me tell you this, Tony. I can see the Kansas City Chiefs blowing out the Eagles.
Yeah.
But I can't see the Eagles blowing out the Kansas City Chiefs. Why? Why am I like that?
Because you've been hurt so many times by the Chiefs, right? They're the father that keeps saying they were going to show up and give you a Christmas present, be there for your birthday, take you to your first day at school, and they just keep abusing you. And that's what the Chiefs have done to you and so many others over the last decade. But I can see either team winning in a blowout fashion. Like there's an easy road to the Eagles hanging on to the football for 38 minutes of this game and the Chiefs just not having enough time, enough possessions to put up a bunch of points, and the Eagles just operate at a super efficient level and they dominate. I could see a blowout in either way. I don't think that's what happens, but I can see it.
So Jalen Hurts went 14-1 this year as the starting quarterback, Tony, just to let you know.
Yeah, there's a great graphic going around about the quarterbacks that they have beat this season. I don't necessarily know how much that, like, I buy into all that stuff. To me, I thought the Eagles were going to be good in the preseason. I picked the Eagles to win the NFC East when we did our preview show. You guys both thought that was a little bit bold. I did not. I had Jalen Hurts on my graphic. Remember at the beginning of the year as a top 12 quarterback? I want everybody to remember that I was ahead of the curve on how good Jalen Hurts was going to be at the quarterback position and how much he elevated his game. I'm done patting myself on the back for the moment. But this is the Eagles. It doesn't matter who you beat. It matters that you beat them. I think the thing that I'm more worried about with the Eagles, Joe, is that everybody keeps trying to tell me that the win against the 49ers was dominant, and it wasn't. It wasn't. It looked dominant. It looked crazy, but they got a bunch of drives extended on penalties, and they got the first play with Devonta Smith. Like, it was a dominant win just in the box score, but when I watched it, I wasn't like, oh shit, watch out, the Eagles are unbeatable. I didn't feel like that.
No, they're not they're not unbeatable, but when the other team is quitting in the fourth quarter and doing some unsportsmanlike conduct because they're so pissed off, it just makes it look worse than it was. I
Sure,
think.
it looked worse because players were losing their temper, and I get that. You go the whole year, and that to me is like the saddest thing ever. Is like, I would have rather seen the Eagles dominate Brock Purdy than knock him out of the game physically.
I think the only thing that did with Brock Purdy not getting knocked out of the game is it gave San Francisco more of a reason to cry and be like, "Oh, this is why we lost." Instead of just losing fair and square, they could have just been like, well, either way they would have been like, "Well, we lost with a third string quarterback." So either way, San Francisco fans would have came up with something of why they lost that game.
Yeah, it just sucks. It's part of the reason, like, I wish that they would expand rosters for that reason. Like, I would love to see the NFL go to, like, hey, you can dress 63 players. Like, let's add 10 players to them on the
Okay,
sideline.
so the NFL has it where it's a 53-man roster. You dress 45 or 46. Well, it was 45. Then they said, "Hey, we're going to make an emergency quarterback, so you can go ahead and dress the number 46, and it's going to be the quarterback." But remember, they had that rule, Tony, that the emergency quarterback is the emergency quarterback, meaning he can't come in until he can come if he comes in the game before the fourth quarter. Number one and number two can't come back into the game. Remember that rule when they had it for a while?
No, I
Uh,
don't.
well, yeah, they had that rule. So but the emergency quarterback could come in like the fourth quarter if needed, if you wanted to mess around with them. Well, since they added that, the NFL made it where you could dress the 46th guy, and now people aren't bringing more quarterbacks. Now they're just using it as another 46 guy, bringing an extra linebacker or something else, and they're still going with two quarterbacks. So now they're talking about maybe going to 47 men. Just dress all 53 and let's see what happens first. That's what I want to see. Let's dress 53 guys and then let's see how teams do. And if we need to dress more, then we'll expand the rosters even more. But at least I don't understand why they have to make 5 or 6 players inactive every game.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't get it. I would assume it probably has something to do with salary, right? And the owners and what they're paying and some sort of contract or something. But in my head, it's like, you talk about player safety and how much better of a game could we have? How much better players, right, getting experience, because you're gonna get more of these guys in getting NFL reps in the end of games. You're going to have to be forcing less players to be out there to expose themselves to more injuries. So, like, then this is simple. Like, let's just have like a college style, not 90 guys or 75 guys dressed, but let's have 55, 60 players dressed on the sidelines who are going to play. And maybe there is like some sort of a rule that, hey, if this guy comes in, that means that these other 3 players are ruled out for the rest of the game, or some stipulation or something,
Yeah.
like a break in case of emergency, final 5. But the thing with football is you then have to stay ready for the whole game. You can't just be sitting there like hanging out and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, Thompson." You can't go into a football game like that. You will get dummied in a second. So you just gotta be prepared.
You want to bring in Willie Beamer.
Willie Beeman, Steeman. I keep the ladies dreaming. Willie Beeman. I hope he starts for the Vegas Rattlers.
My favorite part of that movie is at the end when he takes a job in Arizona and he takes them with him.
The inches are everywhere, Joe Morley. I got to work on my Al Pacino, but I'll get there.
Al Pacino. Al Pacino. You know what movie that's from? You know what Rooting for Al Pacino's from?
What is it?
When somebody goes, Al Pacino.
What is that, Jack and Jill or something?
Jack and Jill. Damn, Tony. There you go.
I know.
That's when Al Pacino's in love with Jill.
I was trying to think of the movie where Al Pacino plays himself, and that's the only one I could think of. I watch all Adam Sandler movies. I did not watch that one all the way through.
Well, I turned on. Jake told me yesterday, we were sitting downstairs and I was flipping through the channels and Jake saw, you always turn inappropriate stuff on. I go, and he goes, don't turn anything inappropriate on. I go, too late. And I turned on Happy Gilmore and we're sitting there watching it. And he's like, Adam Sandler's funny. And I go, yeah, he's pretty good.
Adam Sandler's the best. Yeah, that's. I always, so the other day you know what, enough football talk for a second. Let's get into our families and our lives, and anybody who wants to join it can, Joe. But real quick, In Living Color was a huge part of my childhood. So I was showing Lion. He did this thing where he was sitting in the back of the car and he was like this, and it reminded me of Fire Marshal Bill. And I was like, let me show you something. And I went and turned on Fire Marshal Bill sketches for him because I was like, you need to see what you just reminded me of. This is great. So I showed him like 3 or 4 of these, and they're just outrageous. And then I was like, okay, now we're going to go to Homie the Clown. Do you remember Homie the Clown? You used to hit people over the head with a, Homie, don't play that. Boom, Damon Wayans. And then when we were going down this rabbit hole, we went back to Jim Carrey and we went to Vera DeMilo. Hi, I'm Vera DeMilo. He was like this like steroided up like female bodybuilder. But I just went down this rabbit hole of showing my kids all these people. They've seen them in other movies, but they didn't know how they got their start. And I was like, okay, we're gonna spend some time watching In Living Color. It was great.
Yeah, it's always good when you can go back to your childhood and then they enjoy it as well. That's been the best thing.
Yeah, I yesterday, Joe, I dusted off my golf clubs and I went took my wife to the driving range. She's never been golfing before, and I haven't hit a golf ball in 7 years. I thought I was going to be terrible. My body's falling apart and back's hurting and all that shit. I was crushing the shit out of that ball.
Zero, this is why you tune in, because we're not just football. We'll talk about everything up in here.
Zero's like, what is happening? Zero, what's going on in your life? What do you have new that's going on? Share something, what you did over the weekend. What are your plans for summer? I don't know how old Zero is. Zero could be like 14. Who knows?
Zero, you think we're doing this already? Wait till the football season's over. Wait till. Before I move on, one of the best movies that I've ever shown my kids, and I love this movie, Tony. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's the movie called Heavyweights. It's amazing. It's a great Disney movie. That's the one. Now I'm so proud of it. I'll go downstairs and Jake will have it on and just be watching it. I'm like, yes.
Are you kidding me? Everybody's told me my whole life that I look like Goldberg the goalie. I've seen Heavyweights so many times. Yes, fantastic. I've showed my kids that movie.
Who does this candy belong to?
Huh?
Belongs to when he asks them when they find the candy and they're asking him who it belongs to, and they say it's Seymour Butts.
Yeah. So that movie.
Zero said he nearly broke.
Stuff, Joe. I don't know if you know
Zero
that.
broke some fingers. What happened, Zero? Tell us a story.
You nearly broke 3 fingers? Doing what, dude? You have one of those moments where you put your hand in the door and somebody shut it. They didn't realize your hands were in like the
Oh,
crevice of the door. Had you nearly break 2 or 3 fingers. That movie had a lot. Paul Feig, the guy, the skinny white guy, the camp counselor there for
yeah, yeah.
them. Paul Feig and Judd Apatow worked on that movie together. That character also kind of spawned Dodgeball's character, White Goodman from Globo Gym. And Paul Feig is, he wrote the new Ghostbusters. He wrote The Heat with Melissa McCarthy, Spy with Melissa McCarthy. Like, he went on to be a prolific comedy mind, and obviously Judd Apatow is Judd Apatow. Wait, on a Twitter space? Wait, and Sebastian Joseph Day.
He's on a Twitter space right now, and he said Sebastian Joseph Day just listened in.
Oh, I hope you were saying positive things about the Chargers and not on some Twitter space where people are getting all crazy and bad-mouthing the Chargers or their teams. I almost bought myself a $144 Chargers starter jacket yesterday, but I'm not worth $144, Joe. I never spend money on myself. Sebastian Joseph Day is one of my favorite players in the Chargers. That's the next jersey I'm getting, Joe. I already talked about it with my wife for Father's Day. I'm going to get myself a powder blue 69 jersey. Yeah.
There you go. I like it, Tony. We're coming up on an hour, so we should be ending this. But yeah, Tony loves Sebastian Joseph Day. So if you simply that tell him Tony said what's up. What is that? The Men in Black like little thing to erase my memory?
Yeah, look right here. No, it's my dog's toenail cutter. Okay. I already predicted we did all this other talk. What are you eating today, Joe? What's on the menu?
I know she bought some chicken wings. I don't know. My wife normally goes crazy. I don't like. She was asking me last night what I wanted, and doesn't really matter to me. I just want to watch the game. I just want everybody to be quiet, shut the hell up. Let me watch the game.
Know your role and shut your mouth. Here's what I got for dessert, Joe. I got myself a toffee caramel crusted apple pie with vanilla ice cream. That's my dessert. And I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to go get at least ice cream. But then I'll have the runs after that, Tony. Let's go. Tony, I have a special guest right now to end our show. And it's your friend, my son, Jacob.
Ladies and gentlemen, entering the stream at 5'7", 100 pounds, cut from granite. This young man is a future D1 college football player and some of the best hair in all of the land. Jake Morley!
So, hello.
Hi.
Jacob, let me tell you. So Jacob plays VR2. Zero is sorry, before we get into Jake. Zero said he was playing his VR and he punched a wooden chair and a couple of his fingers are black and bluish. And now it's not looking good. So he almost broke it. Jake, have you ever done that when you're playing the VR?
Yes. One time I hit my hand on a wooden chair and I had to stop playing and pull arrow because it was hurting so bad.
Okay.
So VRs are dangerous.
They are unless you're playing in like your living room and it's completely clean.
So
like, there's no furniture at all.
Zero and Jake, you realize you put on the VR, like make sure you have plenty of space to operate in. Like this isn't a secret. Like you don't put on a blindfold and then go hike the side of a mountain. You don't put on VR goggles and just start swinging wildly with pianos and chairs in the area. Come on, Zero.
And it makes you make a space, like a safe space, before you start playing. Wooden chairs. Wooden chairs are the death of VR players, Tony.
Zero knows what time it is. I got my kids the Oculus too. I don't know if there's been any accidents. I'm sure there has.
He says he has plenty of room too. It is what it is. Yeah, it's a fun thing. Jake plays what's that game, Jake? Pro Era, so he gets to go in the huddle and do all that stuff with the NFL players.
And also the Patrick Mahomes experience.
Yeah. Jake, you're not supposed to be a Patrick Mahomes fan.
I know. You know what's so funny is Jake
I
loves
usually throw interceptions with him though.
Jake loves everybody but the Raiders, and the only reason he's a Raiders fan is because of you.
Tom Raiders.
Raiders.
Oh my goodness.
Who are you taking today, Jake? Let everybody know before we go.
The Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Peace, bud.
I'll see you after the Super Bowl.
What are you gonna eat today?
I don't know.
Oh, he said he'll see you guys after the Super Bowl, but he's taking the Eagles.
Super Bowl.
Jake, do you want to bolt up?
No.
Come on, man.
But
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta start
Chargers
cooking.
suck.
Let's
Right.
end this thing.
See you later.
The last thing I have to say before I leave, the Chargers suck.
What the?
Just go. That's when we should have had like that little thing that pops up. Like remember back in the day with the different color screens? It goes technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
We need to work on that for our upcoming shows. We'll just have something like that whenever we want to go into a big old rant. It just goes boop. This show's on technical difficulties.
We should, and we should get like a quick cut of like Bob Ross calmly painting a tree or something right there.
And then I'll take it back off, and it's just like you're like you're still going nuts. Like, oh shit.
All disheveled, sweaty, crazy, all over the place. How I normally look. All right, sign off, Joe. We just went an hour about nothing.
Yeah. All right, guys. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Enjoy eating. Enjoy doing whatever you need to. Have a great Sunday and a Super Bowl Sunday. Enjoy the last game of the season. I'm taking the Chiefs. Tony's taking the Chiefs. You guys can take the Eagles, but you guys will be wrong. Last word, Tony?
Drive safely. Be smart. Make good choices, young people.
I almost did the it doesn't matter to you, but I let you have it.
Dustin!